Hi, my name is Selena, and this is going to be my March TBR video where I share some things that I hope to finish in the month of March. But first I'm going to give you some names of new booktubers that I've discovered recently on booktube that I would like you to go check out as well if you have some time. I'll leave links to these channels down below. First is Lisbeth Books, and I like this booktuber because she is not afraid to tell what kind of book she likes and what kinds of books she doesn't like, and she's not afraid to be critical, which is a good thing, so thumbs up for that. And then next is Marvelous Reading Room, hosted by Sunny and Amanda, and their videos are super fun, super light. They're not bogged down with like jargon or whatever, but it's just a fun booktubing channel. And then the last is Minute Book Report, which uses art to do book reports. There is a voiceover, but he does artwork that kind of supports the book reviews that he does, and I really do like that. So those are the three, and I'll leave links to those down below. So let's get to the books that I'll be reading in March. First is a reread, and it is Max Gladstone's 3 Parts Dead, and I'll be reading this with Martin over at Reading Martin, and I have been talking a lot about this book with good reason, because I really do like it, and I think that more people should be reading this book. It's the first book in the Craft Sequence series, which follows a legal firm, not necessarily a particular character, but a legal firm and their dealings in this world. This particular book follows Tara, who is a necromancer who has had some bad dealings at her magic school, was kicked out, but she was recruited by a legal firm to help represent the religion of a god that has recently died, and to help solve the mystery of this deity's death. So I'm super excited to be reading this with someone, and hopefully by the end of the month we'll have a video for you that talks about what we thought of the book and other things. So please join in on the discussion. If you want to read it along with us, just leave me a comment down below and you can join in. Next up are the books that I'm reading that is part of like my reading challenge. So I am trying to read my way through all my unread books alphabetically on my shelf. So what that means is that in January I read authors whose last names ended in A and B, and in February I read the last names of authors ending in, the books of the authors, I don't know what I'm saying, C and D. So basically, I just wanted to make sure that I was going to really follow through with this challenge, because I tend to kind of quit when I start a reading challenge. But I was good in January and I completed February, so I'm sharing this with you, and hopefully I will continue this reading challenge. The deal is, if I can read 2 books that I haven't read that are on my shelf, then I'm allowed to buy more books. But if I don't do it, then I can't buy any books that month. So in the month of February, like I said I did C and D. I don't have any authors whose last names end in E on my shelf that I have not read, so I'm skipping E and I'm doing F and G. So I'm reading Nancy Farmer's The House of the Scorpion, and it comes pretty well acclaimed. It has like 3 medals on it, and I've heard a lot of good talk about the book, but I don't know much about it. I think it has something to do with like genetic manipulation, mutation, not quite sure, but I like it that way. I don't want to know too much about it. I think it does take place in South America or Central America, but if you've read the book and have nice things to say or not so nice things to say, let me know down below. I want to know what people thought of the book, but don't spoil me, because I really don't want to know too much about the book before going in. But yeah, let me know what you thought about this book, and I think there's a companion book to go with it, but I'm not 100% sure. Next is Wizard's First Rule by Terry Goodkind. I was given this book by a friend who recommended that I read it. This friend is also recommended Sword of Sonara by Terry Books, which I liked, but it wasn't like my favorite, and I don't think I'm going to finish that series. So I think this is a epic fantasy along similar lines of Sword of Sonara. I'm not 100% sure. I'm going to try to couple this with an audiobook because it is quite large, and so I'll be reading this and listening to it to try to get through this this first book in this series. Then I'll decide if I'm going to finish this series or not. But I do like epic fantasy, but I'm not sure if I'm going to like this, but I am going to give it my best concerted effort. And the last book that I'm going to be reading is Joshua Max Feldman's The Book of Jonah, which is a modern retelling of the biblical story, or the book in the Torah, the story of Jonah and the whale, which, you know, is pretty popular story from the Bible. I'm not sure where the whale's going to fit in this, but it starts off in New York City with a man named Joshua who's like 30-something. He's a lawyer and pretty much is into the very, you know, texting kind of superficial culture of his day, and then is swept into some sort of calamity that he then doesn't want to be part of, kind of like the Book of Jonah. I'm not that far into it. I've got, let's see, about here, I'm like 50 or so pages into the book. But so far, it's okay. I'm hoping that it does pick up. It's starting a little slow. But those are the books that I am planning on reading in the month of March. If you are reading any of these books, have read any of them, or want to join in on the 3-part stead reading with myself or reading Martin, please leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think, and bye.